Assalamu alaikum everyone, this is Muhaiminul Islam Nian welcoming you to a presentation titled Perceptions of Parents on what makes a good primary education teacher in Bangladesh. Despite extensive studies on teacher education, there appears to be quote-unquote no universal agreement about what constitutes good teachers. Yes, the concept of good or effective or teacher qualities is quite extensively researched. Several models, for example, exist, such as the TPAC model, the OECD framework, and James Strounge's book on effective teacher qualities. However, in the context of Bangladesh, research is rare, especially from the point of view of parents. Parents, teachers, and of course students, these three are the major stakeholders of teaching and learning. And so one of these three, that being parents, should not be disregarded in research. Normally we see that research normally happens with students or teachers, but not usually on parents. Moreover, parents are an important aspect and of course subject of research like this, especially because they are also involved in their children's studies, especially at the primary level. For example, parents may be involved in parent-teacher meetings, in getting their children private tutors, or admitting them into a coaching center, etc., etc. Thus, I wanted to look at what qualities parents and teachers think that make up good primary teachers. This is my research question. What qualities, according to Bangladeshi parents, should an effective primary education teacher in Bangladesh possess? As mentioned, there is extensive research on teacher qualities. For example, there are numerous frameworks and seminal scholars like James Strounge. Different scholars and institutions like the OECD have come up with a different quantity of teacher qualities. For example, Mohammadi Tabar analyzed 23 teacher education textbooks and found 13 teacher qualities. Okay, 13. Some other scholars have found even more, such as Rastislav, who found 57 qualities. Yes, 57 different qualities of teachers. And in the book Qualities of Effective Teachers, James Strounge found no fewer than 135. Yes, 135. However, if we classify these teacher qualities into broad qualities or broad categories, then we can come up with 3 to 6 qualities. You can consider them classifications like big groups of qualities. The TPAC framework, for example, has 3 qualities, which are technological, pedagogical, and content knowledge, and under these are several others. And in the OECD framework, we get 4 qualities, and in Strounge's classifications, we get 6. For the purpose of this study, I considered 5 qualities, as you can see: content, pedagogy, technology, teacher ethics, and test scores. So content knowledge refers to subject matter knowledge, of course. For primary teachers, it is not necessary to have a huge amount of content knowledge, like getting a PhD, for example. However, without teaching skills or pedagogical knowledge, even scholars or great researchers with a ton of content knowledge, they cannot become good teachers, according to Darling Hammond and Bharat Snowden, among others. As for technological knowledge, many teacher qualities frameworks do not actually include this. However, the TPAC model has technological knowledge at the very front. It is T and then pedagogical and then content. Another way to even call the model is TechPAC. It is TECHPACK. So the first 4 letters of the 8-letter that acronym, it's actually standing for technology. That's how important it is. Even in the name, you can see how important the role of technology is. Unfortunately, both before and after the pandemic, research has shown that general teachers' technological proficiency is actually less than their content and pedagogical knowledge. Coming to teacher ethics, it refers to aspects like being unbiased in the classroom, teaching everyone equally, and grading everyone impartially without any bias. A study was conducted to compare American and Chinese parents' views on teacher ethics. It was found that both countries' parents want teachers to not only be ethical, but also teach morality to children. In Bangladesh, a lot of unethical activities transpire, such as teacher politics, with teachers even threatening students to come study at their coaching center. Otherwise, the students' marks may even be jeopardized. This also relates to the final teacher quality I will discuss here, which is the students' test scores. Interestingly, ensuring that students receive good grades is not generally considered to be a teacher quality in the Western context, but in Bangladeshi context and also other exam-oriented countries like China, test scores of high-stakes exams like the SSC and the HSC are so important that they determine someone's college, university, and even job life, right? Therefore, many parents may want the primary teachers of their children at the primary level to make sure that the children are high achieving students, which means they are getting a lot of good marks. That's a teacher quality for them. Coming to methodology, this is a qualitative study based on the capital city of Bangladesh, Dhaka. I have interviewed 4 parents of primary students. The participation selection criteria were that the parents must have 1 or more children who are at primary school now, which means they are studying in class 1 or to 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I also allowed participants whose child or children were in primary school in the last 5 years. However, I did not allow any older students because I wanted to get modern results from my study without any generation gaps. I took the interviews via the telephone and I used Braun and Clark's thematic analysis for analyzing the data. I also considered some ethical issues such as informed consent, pseudonyms, and for the participants to speak in Bangla if they chose. Moving on to my results section, all 4 of my participants had overall positive experiences with their children's primary teachers. For example, P2 said that they are quote-unquote most cooperative and helpful. 2 of the participants also had their children go to private tuition. The experience there is also overall good. Although P4 said that the first home tutor of her child was not quite good, she is extremely satisfied with the current tutor. 3 of the participants also went to parent-teacher meetings and have mostly positive experiences there as well. Moving on to my results section, all 4 of my participants had overall positive experiences with their children's primary teachers. For example, P2 said that they are quote-unquote most cooperative and helpful. 2 of the participants also had their children go to private tuition. The experience there is also overall good. Although P4 said that the first home tutor of her child was not that good, she is extremely satisfied with the current tutor. 3 of the participants also went to parent-teacher meetings and have mostly positive experiences there as well. Coming into the discussion for the actual teacher qualities, the participants valued both subject matter knowledge and teaching skills. However, they all said that the ability to teach is more important than the amount of knowledge that the teacher has. For example, P3 said that knowledge is not as important if it cannot be expressed. Another participant said that when she was a university student, she used to teach many of her fellow friends. Even the teachers there used to ask her unofficially to help struggling students. However, she was not the topper. The first girl, however, did not have pedagogical knowledge like her. Thus, the participants felt that a primary teacher with less knowledge is still better than a primary teacher with more knowledge but who is not good at teaching. There was also a high demand for primary teachers to have digital literacy. P1 said that quote-unquote now is the era of technology and the teachers need to keep up with technologically competent children. P2 said that without digital literacy, taking classes during a crisis like COVID-19 would not be possible in the first place. According to P3, technology can be implemented in the form of audio-visual lessons such as cartoons and animated rhymes like an ABCD rhyme. Though ICT is not introduced in primary school, one participant said that primary teachers need to have basic competence in technology regardless. Another way technology can help, according to the participants, was via updates and for keeping track of students' progress. For example, a database can be set up and updated by the teacher, and parents can also be allowed access to this database. They can also be updated about news, syllabus, and grades via text messaging services. The fourth theme I found is about moral education. According to the participants, it is very important for the students to learn morality from childhood. If students find a role model in their teacher, then this can strike a chord in them and mold their lifestyle. The participants said that this mostly happens during childhood, as the children still have neuroplasticity, which means that their brain is still able to be molded in whatever shape they want. According to P4, children are the most influenced at school, even more than at home. We know that children, we all are most influenced by our home environment, but one participant said that even the school environment is even more influential. Finally, I found that high achievement or good grades are not necessarily linked to good teaching. At least that is what the parents in this study believe. According to P3, it is not the teacher's responsibility to make sure that the students achieve good grades, but that the only responsibility that the teachers have is to teach properly in the class. P3 added that the parents are responsible for that. According to P2, it is the student who is responsible. P1 acknowledged that a good teacher may not lead to good marks, but said that naturally there is a connection. Quote unquote, good teaching should lead to better marks anyway, and so students or even parents shouldn't care about good marks. If there's a good teacher, good marks will follow. Now, I will relate my findings with the literature. To remind you, my research question was what qualities, according to Bangladeshi parents, should an effective primary education teacher in Bangladesh possess? I found that the TPAC model, or the technological, pedagogical, and content knowledge, quite nicely fits into my findings because I found all three of these areas. This confirms many previous studies such as of Islam, Newman, and others, and also of Stronge. Curiously, pedagogical knowledge was perceived to be the most important out of all. This could be that because in the primary education level, it is not required for teachers to have a large knowledge base. Therefore, what matters more is the ability to teach rather than a large repertoire of knowledge. Besides these three qualities of the TPAC framework, my results show a fourth quality, that being moral education. My participants said that they do not want their children to see any kind of immoral acts from their teachers, such as unfair marking or unfair treatment of students. They also said that it is a teacher's duty to teach morality to students. This contributes to Liu and Meng's study, which found similar findings for Chinese and American parents. So Bangladeshi parents, according to my study, also follow those patterns. Furthermore, we all know that Bangladesh is an exam-oriented country where grades and certificates determine someone's entire life. And one might think that parents also desire their children to achieve high marks. However, my participants at least claim that they do not care much about the competition. There could be a number of reasons why that is the case. It could be that in the interviews, the parents did not want to admit that they care about marks. It could also be that due to news about youth suicides in Bangladesh, due to study pressure, now many parents do not want their children to necessarily be in the competition for getting the highest marks. Maybe it's not worth it and they're finally realizing it. To conclude, these were the qualities that my participants perceived good primary teachers in Bangladesh should have. These are, first of all, pedagogical knowledge, followed by content knowledge and technological knowledge. My participants also want primary teachers to provide moral lessons, since children learn best from childhood. Before ending, I would like to outline some further research scopes on this topic. My study filled the research gap by being a qualitative one on parents' perceptions of effective primary teacher qualities in Bangladesh. But there are many other research gaps in this topic. A quantitative study can hopefully generalize any findings I had. Moreover, research can focus more particularly on male parents, because I only took female parents, or even maybe parents of English medium students versus Bangla medium students. Maybe a comparison can be done. Finally, it was curious that even in an exam-centered country like Bangladesh, the parents in my study claimed that they do not care that much about grades. Triangulation from other sources can unearth whether that is in fact true. For example, a survey on the children on their parents' perceptions, like if you ask the children, like, what do you think that your parents want, or parents think about your teachers, maybe those type of research studies can help us know if what the parents in my study said are actually genuine, or maybe even there is a miscommunication between the parents and the students about teacher qualities. So these are my references. Thank you everyone for listening and watching. Goodbye.